Hog Farmer Chris and the 2022 Commanders Fan of the Year. Before you listen to Red Zone in the Lab podcast, I want to thank you for your support in bringing awareness to the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation, which helps children and their families affected by pediatric cancer. You truly make a difference. And with that being said, please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube.
Yo, welcome back. This is Red Zone in the Lab podcast. I am Deuce. Hey man, entering the lab today, right? Like, I know it's CLew, right? Like I knew it was CLew, right? I knew it was CLew when I first saw it. You got the C, the L, and then it had the magnifying glass. I was like, yo, that's CLew. But you know, it's CLew now, right? So that's just what we gonna rock with, right? People ain't get it up front, man. That's what we gonna rock with. But yeah, man, host of what is that? Balls Podcast, man. Co-host Sports Doc, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on, man. But yeah, it's CLew or CLew. It don't really matter to me.
Yeah,
I mean, it's CLew, right? Because my name's Chris Lewis. But I put it out there like that because that's what my homeboys from college, like my former teammates, they're like, "Hey, CLew, what's up?" So, so you know, I had to do it like that. Just a little play on my name and everything.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I peeped that early, man. I was like, man, it's CLew, man. Yeah, making me seem like I'm crazy, man. But yeah, man, this is not your first time here, man. You've been a couple times before, man. But man, I had to get you back on, man, because I don't know, man. You have another year like you had this past year, man. It might be a long waiting list, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. We trying to do some big things, man. Trying to make some moves for sure. You know, just trying to stay consistent with everything. I got to get back on my like regular podcast, the Drop Balls podcast, but you know, I've been doing a bunch of other stuff too on Twitter, you know, Twitter Spaces, Sports After Dark, After Hours, you know, all of that with Ashley Baker, Young Heavy, and Mark Gunnell. So yeah, we definitely trying to make some things shake, man.
It's crazy, man, where it came from. Like it took off, right? It was kind of like from what I remember, it was kind of like Ashley and Mark for a minute, and then Heavy had came on, and then like you had came on. It was just like kind of took off, and it was like you four have this like dynamic that just meshes, right? And yeah. all of you meet over like Twitter.
Yeah, all of us met over Twitter on the sports joint, man. Like just talking sports and everything. But it's, yeah, like you say, the chemistry is crazy. Like the chemistry with us four is crazy. Where we can literally just sit there and talk sports all day, and everything, like argue back and forth, disagree. But you know, at the end of the day, it's all love. Like you know how sports is, man.
Yeah, most definitely. It's crazy, man. But yeah, man, y'all definitely doing big things, man. Y'all done made that Spaces platform more formidable, right? It gets more respect to be able to have like shows set, time set. Hey, look, this is where we're going to be every week. We're going to be here regardless of what happens, regardless of who here. And that's the thing. Like I've always had that vision, you know, and we're even trying to do that like on a commander side. Like we have shows set up at certain times every day throughout the week because why can't we be ESPN? Why can't we be FS1?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts. All facts.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, let's talk some Colts, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Last time I had you on here, you know what I'm saying? I thought Carson Wentz was going to, you know, give me those weeks 4 through weeks, 16 when he was with y'all, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to down that sword, man. I got to down that sword, man. Because I was showing up caving for him, man.
Yeah, and I mean, like I told y'all last time, Carson Wentz isn't terrible, but you know, just watching him play, and like when he was with us, right? Watching him play, it's like, dang, man, like we could have so much more if we just had a better quarterback. And it's really was the decision making and like him being late on certain things that he just wasn't really good at, as far as like, you know, crossing routes and stuff like that, or mesh concepts and stuff like that. But Yeah, man. Carson Wentz, man. He's now, a free agent looking for a job,
My God,
working
man,
out
he
in all
was
his former team's equipment.
right. That's crazy, right? Oh, it's crazy. And so he's still trying to force screens, right? One of those pitches. I said, look, he's still forcing screens with that
Yeah,
little
man.
side throw. But yeah, he was terrible here, man. But look, man, like y'all have which potentially can be a new franchise quarterback, right? Let's get right into it. Did you expect for you all to go Richardson in the first round? And if not, what did you want to do?
So, I mean, I would have been okay with doing a couple of things, like even coming out of college. So let's rewind back to the beginning of the 2022 season. Everybody had Richardson pegged to go to the Colts. Like that's what all the draft boys were saying. Like the Colts are going to take Richardson. I'm like, nah, I don't want AR. Like I don't want him. I don't want AR. So as the season going on and everything, and it's looking like, all right, we about to have like a top 5 pick. I'm like, all right, let me start looking at quarterbacks. So towards the end of the season, I'm looking at some of AR's tape and everything, and I'm like, oh man, like okay, I might be able to get behind this AR train. I don't want him in the first round, but I can get behind us drafting him as our quarterback because there was a lot of things he did that I liked. Now I know there's inconsistencies with his accuracy and everything. Well, more so with his footwork and his mechanics. But I was like, there's a lot of things that I like that he has that he's kind of beyond his years in already. Because he coming out of college, he was only 20 years old. He just turned 21, I think, in May. So I started getting behind the AR hype train. Now, when I knew we was taking a quarterback, I wanted AR. Like when I knew we was taking a quarterback, that's who I wanted. I still didn't like it in the first round, but I was like, if we're gonna go big and get our franchise guy, then we need to get him right now.
So let's talk about him, right? He's been there, been in camp, a few months, rookie OTAs. We're here training camp 2 weeks in. What is your take on Anthony Richardson?
So right now, my take on Anthony Richardson is he's been playing pretty good. Like there's still some inconsistencies going on, but he's been solid. He's still learning. He's still out there grinding. They love him around the facility. He's put in the work. I think Michael Pittman said it's hard to really get him out of his playbook. So that lets me know he's willing to learn and put in the work to be great. And that's what I like to see, especially from a young quarterback, and especially for someone who needs to put in the work, really. Like they say the stuff that he's doing, they don't believe he can fail because how hard he works. But he had his best 2 days of camp on, I think, Saturday and Sunday, where he just was shredding the defense.
Okay.
So for me, it's like you got to keep stacking those days. So you got to be consistent. You got to keep stacking those days and those weeks, put them all together, so that way you have that going into the season.
And are you comfortable with him? Do you think that he's going to be the franchise guy, or is he one of those people you always like to say, look, I need him to be consistent and I need to see more? Like you have those guys, and then you have the he's going to be our franchise quarterback. Where does he lay?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in the middle where it's like I'm good with him being our franchise guy, but I still want to see more. Like I want to see the talent on a consistent basis because I know it's there. I just
Yeah.
want to see it consistently because we see it. It's just putting those days, putting it all together, being consistent with your footwork, being consistent with your mechanics and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean that I'm somewhere in the middle with it, where it's like, yeah, he can be that guy. Like, and I've told people before, like, if he puts it all together, he may push Patrick Mahomes for that number 1 spot in the
Okay.
NFL, as the best quarterback in the league because he has the tools.
Okay. Yeah, man, I'm rooting for him. I mean, if he got anywhere close to us, it was gonna get crazy, right? But obviously he didn't. But just I want to kind of go back. I want to talk about Leonard, right? It's not Darius Leonard, it's Shaquille Leonard now, right? So like I told you, like when you put that post when he was out there practicing with the ones, and I think he was doing 11 on 11. I don't, like I said, man, I don't remember the Colts fan that came in there that said that he was saying how his injury has kind of been a mystery, similar to the Luck situation, and that he wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play again. What was your what's your whole view on everything that's been going on with it? Because I remember him coming back last year, but it was like for like a half or something, right? And then he was
Yeah,
just
and
done
it
for the
was
whole year.
against y'all. Yeah, it was
That's
against
right.
y'all,
Yeah.
and he came back and then he broke his nose in that game because I
Yeah.
think it was either EJ Speed or Zaire Franklin had they were both trying to tackle somebody and then like kind of hit him in the face and everything. And he broke his nose in that game, which I believe was like a blessing in disguise because he admitted like he wasn't 100% and he wasn't moving around well. I mean, he got an interception that game, which is cool, but like he even said like he wasn't moving around well. And you could tell he was just a little slow, you know, he was a little behind on certain things. But now he says he feels good. He's still getting back into the groove of things. I think I still don't think he's at full speed, but I think he's still, you know, he's going to get there. Uh, he's been going through some contact in practice since we've had full pads and everything. He's been going through some contact, so and that's a good sign too. That's a good sign that he's getting back. He's getting back there. So it's just a matter of it's the same with him, like stacking those practices, seeing how his body feels after these practices, after taking some contact and everything. But it seems like he's moving in the right direction. So I'm happy to see that. I don't know if he ever returns back to what we saw with Darius Leonard, 2021. But so hopefully this Shaq Leonard is, Darius Leonard. Like hopefully is one and the same. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So we'll see, man. It's hard to come back from like nerve damage and back injuries. So, but he's been one that he's seen neurologists, all types of things to try to get take care of the nerve damage, take care of the back injury, and get back right to make it back on that field.
All right, so any on the defensive side, like where are your concerns and where are you most confident in before we go to the O?
Yeah, on the defensive side, it's probably linebacker and corner. The reason I go with corners is because we're very young and unexperienced at corner.
Okay.
I think the only corner that we have that has experience is Kenny Moore. All the rest of them, what's his name? Dallas Flowers, I think has started like 1 or 2 games. But the rest of them, Jalen Jones, Juju Brents, Darius Rush, they're rookies. Daryl Baker Jr., who has been doing pretty well in camp, he hasn't really seen the field. So it's one of those things. We have a lot of young guys in the secondary. So it's like I said, young and inexperienced. So it's just, I got to see what they can do in game. So I'm looking forward to Saturday because preseason game. Looking forward to seeing what the young guys can do. Now linebackers, just because I believe we're thin at linebacker, and I don't know where Shaq is. Like if Shaq is ready by week 1, then I'm like, all right, cool. We got Shaq and Zaire Franklin and Ziggy. So I mean, I'm happy with that linebacking duo. But it's just like I said, Shaq has to be healthy because EJ Speed, he's going to get some burn, but he's been a special teams guy for us, not really a starting linebacker. So, if Shaq's out there, I feel a little more comfortable with our linebacking core.
Before we get started with the podcast, I want you all to go check out You Grow Girl. That's Grow, Grow, written by a dear friend of mine, Jay Smith. It's for daily affirmations for Black women. It is filled with beautiful, colorful images of Black women and powerful affirmations. You can find it at Amazon at Amazon.com.
We're back! Welcome back to Red Zone in the Lab with Deuce.
Do you think he's going to give it a go at all during the preseason?
If he does, I think it'll probably be in spurts, or it'll probably be like the last preseason game. Week 3 of the preseason.
Offense. How do you feel about Michael Pittman?
I like Pittman. I've always been of the mindset that I don't know if he's a true number 1.
Yeah.
I think he's a number 2 that was forced to be a number 1. But at the same time, I have to give Pittman his credit because he's caught passes from 5 different quarterbacks in 3 years. This is about to be 6 or 6 or 7 with Gardner Minshew and AR. So I got to give him some credit because he's produced. And I know a lot of people give him some crap because like last year he caught 99 balls, but he didn't have 1,000 yards. But people got to look at how our offense was last year. It wasn't really a productive offense. There was a lot of stuff thrown underneath. Like he didn't really have his ADOT was like 3.6 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like his ADOT was very low last year. So I like him. I think if we get some consistency at quarterback, I think that's where you really start to see Michael Pittman shine. And if we have a head coach, our offensive coordinator, head coach, Shane Steichen, if he can put Michael Pittman in position to succeed, which there's some stuff that they've been doing at camp that I haven't really seen, from the previous regime with Frank Reich. So, I like that a lot. So hopefully they put Michael Pittman in position to succeed and to be, one of those dependable receivers that the Colts are used to having, man.
Yeah, most definitely. I had a few of them.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the receiving core? How confident are you in those guys?
So I really like Josh Downs, the rookie receiver we drafted from North Carolina. I really like.
I was
that
hoping
pick.
he was going to be the first person you say, because I definitely want to know how he's doing in camp for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised we took him because we know Chris Ballard don't usually get the shorter receivers, but I was happy we drafted him. But he's doing pretty good in camp. He's he's doing pretty good. I'm ready to see him Saturday, man. I'm ready to see more of him on Saturday. But he's been balling. And then another one is Alec Pierce. I really like Alec Pierce. I think he's going to take a big step this year, especially because we have a quarterback that can throw the ball 20 yards downfield now. So now, that's his bread and butter, the 50-50 ball and the, going downfield. He ran the 4.40, so he got the speed. So I'm really excited to see Alec Pierce this year as well. I think him and Josh Downs, they're going to be the guys that kind of not take the top off the defense, but they're going to be the guys that kind of stretch the field, and you can let Michael Pittman work underneath, and that's where you're going to see Pittman shine.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. Like it was some real intriguing players that because Twitter and Spaces has really it's kind of drawn me even closer to like football and analytics and all that different type of stuff, just being able to talk about it, and then kind of dipping into college and when we doing these draft boards and looking at these players and stuff like that. So like Josh Downs is one of my like players that I'm kind of following to see how his career kind of progressed, especially so he's somebody I'm definitely gonna be looking at the the playbacks and the all 22 just to kind of see.
Yeah, I'm excited about that pick. For me, it was like, all right, I don't think we're not gonna get Josh Downs. So I'm looking at all these other receivers because I'm like, he 5'10", 5'11", something like that.
Right.
We're not drafting him because Ballard loves his 6 foot receivers, like 6 foot and up. That's where we go. So I'm looking at all the taller receivers because I'm like, Zay Flowers out the question, Josh Downs out the question, all of them. Bro, when we picked Josh Downs in the second round, man.
He was excited, huh?
I was excited, dog.
And that's crazy because like you can really have something here, right? You have Pittman, the guy that's been in the league, the vet, but he's also looking for a new deal, right? So you have that, but now you have a young quarterback, you have a young wide receiver that can possibly grow together. It's just going to be, do I want to put these resources in Pittman, which is not like your typical number one receiver. So that's going to be something to kind of follow also. What any other concerns? Like what are you most concerned about on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, on the offensive side is the offensive line. Our offensive line was terrible last year. But specifically it's the right guard position. I do expect them to be better this year, like the whole offensive line in its entirety. But the biggest concern is the right guard position because we didn't do anything to replace that or to fix that, to be honest. I mean, they're still talking about trotting Will Fries back out there. And it's like, he wasn't good last year. I don't know what's going to change this year. And we got an undrafted rookie and Emil Ikior out of Alabama, which he would have been probably like a 4th round guy, but he has, I think it was a knee issue or a heart issue or something like that. But so he ended up, just dropping out of the draft pretty much when they did his medicals. But he's hurt right now. He's on the sideline right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't even know what we have at right guard. Like I said, we'll probably see on Saturday, but that's my main concern is the offensive line. Is like, how are they? That's my main concern on the offense. And of course, the elephant in the room, Jonathan Taylor. Like, I mean, those got to be the two biggest concerns for the Colts right now, man.
Like, where are, like, what's up with this back and forth, man? Like, when it comes to Irsay, like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was putting Dan on the spot. Like, he was telling us stuff that I'm sure and he wasn't supposed to be saying, right?
He put Dan on a platter, man.
He was coming for him, man. But it just seems like he wilding, man. He had that one. He was like, if I die and you never play in the league, I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
Like, this can't be real.
And while I get what he was saying as far as like the game goes on, right? The league's gonna go on. He was wrong because like players are missed, man, and some owners are missed as well. But like players are missed. Like Andrew Luck's been going out the league for 5+ years, and you won't catch a Colts fan. Like every Colts fan misses Andrew Luck. So I mean, players are missed. So even if JT is gone and he's not playing another down in the league, people are still going to miss him, especially Colts fans. They're still going to miss JT. Actually, I don't know, because all of this has rubbed some Colts fans the wrong way. Me personally, I'm going to miss JT.
Yeah.
But Irsay speaks his mind, which I can respect it. But sometimes it's things that it's like, did you have to say that? Some things are better left unsaid. Like, we all know the game is going to go on with or without you. You don't really need to say that. We've seen it happen. The NFL has been around for years. So you don't really need to tell us that the game's going to go on without you or Jonathan Taylor. We all know that. So it's like some things are just better left unsaid. Things had quieted down for a minute too until yesterday, of course, when Jonathan Taylor wasn't at practice. And then everything ramped back up. Then the Kareem Hunt news came out. And I was like, God dang, can we just stay out the news cycle for a minute? Like, we think you talking about
y'all. What about us? You know what I'm saying? Can we stay out for?
But see, y'all are good now. Y'all ain't in the news cycle. Y'all just cruising through camp right now.
Nah, man, that stuff with Eric Bieniemy and Ron, like saying that crazy stuff yesterday, man. Like it's been crazy.
I didn't even peep that. I didn't even peep that.
National media, man, it's crazy. But yeah, man, like so. Like, where are we? Are they still just like at a standstill? Like, is he, because I think with the new CBA, as long as you show up, you're not going to get fined, right? So
yeah.
I think even we talk about Zach Martin. I know he was like over $500,000 last week.
Yeah, he bought it like 700,000 right now.
Yeah, so and I know Jonathan has been there for the most part, but of course he wasn't there yesterday. So. Man, like these running backs, this has been a real big issue. Like, before we continue, what's your take on it, CLew? Like with these running back market and their value?
Yeah, I mean, so like with Taylor, and even just for running backs, period. But like with Taylor, he's having
different. He's different. Like
he's different.
Yeah.
He's having excused absences right now too. So like he's not getting fined or anything. They excuse the absences. That's why like yesterday, if you saw me tweeting, like there were so many things running through my mind. I'm just tweeting things out. Especially after the Kareem Hunt stuff came out. But when it comes to the running back market, man, I do think like they're being devalued. My personal opinion, I don't know exactly what Taylor wants to be paid. I know things have come out saying he wants to be paid, at the top of the market, resetting the market pretty much. So that would be probably over Christian McCaffrey, who's getting like $16 million. I don't think Taylor's worth that. And the reason I don't is because while I love Jonathan Taylor and I love him as our running back, he does have some deficiencies in his game where his pass blocking isn't the best. He's an adequate pass catcher out of the backfield. Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, like those running backs, you can literally line up anywhere on the field and they can be productive. Wide receiver, slot, running back, whatever. So they deserve that type of money. I think running backs, and I think Travis Etienne said this, but like you have to diversify your skill portfolio. You got to be able to be a pass catcher now too. You got to be able to pass block. Um, that's why you see a Bijan Robinson go in the first round, a Jahmyr Gibbs go in the first round, because their skill set is just different. Their skill set is of a CMC, of an Alvin Kamara, where they're an offensive weapon at this point. So while the game is moving away from the bruiser running back, and Jonathan Taylor is more than that. Like he can run around you, he can run through you, or he can shake you. But he's not he's not that offensive weapon. Now he's been big for the Colts for sure, especially that 2021 season, 1,800 yards, 20 plus touchdowns that season. But he's not that versatile running back that teams are looking for nowadays. And I do think the Colts are going to pay him. I think they're being dishonest. I think the Colts and JT and his agent are kind of being dishonest about his injury. I think his injury might be worse than what they've led on, and that's part of the reason why the Colts haven't paid him, and that's why he's not practicing. Because a lot of stuff has changed since April of this year, where Jonathan Taylor was like, I signed the contract, I put the pen to the paper. I have an obligation to the team, and the team has an obligation to me. And then now it's like, the whole tone has changed. But yeah, I just think that, cooler heads will prevail. And so it's going to take some time. But I think JT has to get back on the field. And I think once he does, then the Colts will give him somewhere around like 13, 14 million a year, maybe like a 3-year deal or something like that.
Yeah, because like when he first reported, people was like, "Man, look how he walking. He got stiff back the way he was.
Yeah,
the way he was walking." But I mean, he came out and said, like, did he say something about like who, like y'all sources, or I don't have no back?
Yeah, he said nothing's wrong with his back. Y'all need to get new sources. But I mean, when you look at the tape, a lot of people, or like look at just practice film, him walking around, a lot of people have said like he looks stiff. His back looks stiff, or he's walking with a limp, where his ankle may not be 100%.
Yeah, man. So, I can't wait. Like that's another interesting storyline. So, going into this season, what are your expectations for this upcoming season?
I don't really have high expectations for the team this year. Really, I just want to see the young guys develop, especially AR. I want to see him progress. I want him to see him, gain some more of that consistency going forward throughout the season. And like I said, just to see the young guys, continue to develop. I think our ceiling, is 9 wins. I think our floor is like around 6 wins. I don't think we're a team that's really going to compete for much this year. I think we'll be competitive in games, but I don't think like, we're competing to make the playoffs or, Super Bowl or nothing like that. I think we have a long way to go. So I just really want to see the guys develop and stuff like that. That's my expectations. See the offensive line do better as well.
Yeah, man, because it's no reason to see Garner Minshew, right? No reason at all.
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be mad if he started the season. My thing is, if AR is ready, put him out there. If he's not ready, then we don't start him yet.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
How do you see the division playing out before we get up out of here?
I think the Jaguars win the division. I think the Titans come in second. We'll be third place, and the Texans fourth.
Ooh. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's how I see it going.
I like that. Yeah, man. So, man, look, man, CLew, man. I really appreciate you stopping through, man, taking the time. Honoring my mishap, thinking you in the Midwest, when you on the over on the West Coast, man. So, yeah, man, I really appreciate you stopping by for sure, man. Like I say, man, big ups to what you're doing. Just know that people are watching. Me for
Appreciate
one,
that, man.
I'm watching the moves. The way you handle yourself in these spaces, the way you handle yourself on these tweets, on these podcasts, man. I really, really respect it for sure. For anyone that's not, following you, or some of my listeners might not know who you are, go ahead, drop, your handles and where they can find all your content.
Yeah, for sure. But first off, I appreciate you having me on again and everything. But yeah, if you're on Twitter, you can follow me at Balls Pod on Twitter. Instagram, let me see. I changed my Instagram name. I don't remember it. Oh, dropballs_pod. You can find me on there. And that's pretty much everywhere that I'm at. Is Instagram and Twitter. That's where I be really doing things. Now, YouTube, y'all can check us out at Sports After Dark YouTube page. We do Sports After Dark after hours every Tuesday. And, you know, we got the Twitter Spaces. The Twitter Space is going. I think we're doing one tomorrow. But, yeah, that's everywhere you can find me, man.
I appreciate that, man. Again, appreciate you for joining. Everybody that's out there, I appreciate you for watching. I appreciate you for listening. This is Red Zone and Lab Podcast. I am Deuce. That is CLew. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.
Thank you for listening to Red Zone in the Lab Podcast. Please subscribe to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Also, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.